Okay, welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome to this space that it's ATMA con Beatriz. ATMA means, in Spanish is aprendiendo a transformar nuestro mundo en alternativas. In English translation, it's learning to transform our world in alternatives. And today I have a super special guest that I love so much since I met her 2, 3 years ago, and we have been in different scenarios in the same room, but with different roles. In the same place, but different roles. So the first question is, who is Sheila? How do you pronounce your name? Do I pronounce it right? Sheila, how do you say so?
Sheila.
Some
Sheila.
people
I know that you'd like people, say Shayla as well, but that's okay.
that it's written Sheila, but the pronunciation is Sheila, and she's from the States, but her ancestors, as you can see, are from India.
Yes.
So you introduce yourself. Who is Sheila for Sheila? Who is you for you?
Sure. God, you're so funny. Well, hi everyone. My name is Sheila Karpe, and yes, I am of Indian origin, but I was born and raised in the U.S., specifically Delaware. So where our new president is from. I'm from the same state, and I lived in the U.S. for the first 27 years of my life. So, like, born and raised. What did I do? I went to University of Delaware for undergrad, and then I did my master's at Temple University, and I was on a worked for Johnson and Johnson for many years, and was on a very kind of typical corporate path, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
And then my husband Ash and I moved to Singapore. We had a great opportunity. He did his MBA at NCAD, which is based in Singapore, and we
Mm,
moved. Yeah, and that was the launching. That was like the jumping off point for us to move to
okay.
Singapore, and I was able to keep working at J&J, just in the Asia Pacific office, and phenomenal experience getting to work in the region and getting just that experience, that global experience. And as I continued to work here, I started to really tap into my yoga. So I got certified as a yoga teacher trainer back in 2015. And so I was a new teacher when I moved to Singapore, and I started to teach a lot here. I taught at work, I taught friends, I taught family, I taught everybody. And the deeper I got into my practice, the more I realized that actually my heart was in personal development. It was really in understanding who I am, what is it I want to do with my one wild and precious life. And then I did coaching, which is how I met the lovely Beatriz, and then that kind of just changed everything. And I left the corporate world around this time last year, and now I am a health and wellness coach, an executive coach as well, yoga teacher still, Reiki practitioner, and just forever learner. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me. Oh, you're on mute,
Ah,
Beatrice.
sorry. So 2015, you started the yoga teacher training in Singapore. I
No,
didn't.
In Washington D.C. In when I was in D.C.
Okay. So
We were
when
living in. Mhm.
okay, so when did you go to Singapore? In which year?
20 end of 2015.
Okay, so the yoga was first and then you came to Singapore. You went to Singapore.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't know that you arrived in Singapore because of the INSEAD.
Yes. Yeah. So
I
that
have
was
been in
the
that campus. I love it. I love it.
yeah.
I have some friends that work there. I didn't know that you were like, I love these
Oh,
interviews because I start knowing more about the
yeah.
life of my friends. And yeah, we met in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And I still remember the day that you came, the first day you came with a long skirt.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
I
Good
remember
memory.
your movement and the skirt, and you were like super somatically speaking with different the Singaporeans.
Yeah.
And I got tuk, 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 tuk. I was like, she's not from Singapore.
Yeah.
Uh,
No.
so cool. And I mean, your parents are from India or your grandparents? Your
My
parents.
parents are from India.
From
So
where?
India, they grew up in Mumbai. So they were, like grew up there, went to school there. And it was actually my dad's like dream from when he was 11 years old, that he wanted to come to the US. So he told me that he used to actually, on his way to school, when he would walk, he used to pass a cow, and he would like, kind of like pray to the cow, like, I want to go to the US. And I think that for my dad, it was about like the US was just a land of opportunities. It was
Yeah.
it was a place where you could be anybody. You weren't, and in the way that he thought of it, you weren't confined in any way to
Yeah.
to the systems and the setup, of course, that was that way in India back in the day. And then he did his PhD in India, and he got a postdoc at Rockefeller University in New York. And
Yeah.
before he moved, him and my mom, got married. And my mom had just finished her master's in pharmacy in India, and she got an internship or a fellowship at Cornell University in New
Yeah.
York. And so they both moved. The story, like, I love telling this. They immigrated over in 1982, and they landed in JFK in New York in April. And my mom was still in a sari, and it was snowing, and it was the first time she'd ever seen snow. And like the way that they kind of were welcomed into New York. And it was yeah, and they had a little bit of money, they had their education. And my dad's older sister she was already in the US with her husband.
Mm.
So they did have like some family, but for the most part, it was just about, building from the ground up, really living the American dream. And so, yeah, so they
Wow.
lived in New York for like 4 years, and that was great because it was big city to big city, right? Coming from Mumbai and then New York, so it felt familiar.
Yeah.
And then they moved to St. Louis, Missouri, which is in the Midwest, like
Yeah.
in the kind of more suburban lifestyle. So
Hmm.
my parents said that their ears were like ringing for the first couple of months because they were so used to the noise and it was quiet. And then I was born in St. Louis. Um,
In San Luis. It's
mhm.
amazing that you say they move in 82.
Yeah.
I was like, how come? Because you say 82, and I was like, 82? So a person that was born in 82 can have a master's now? It's like what like I'm thinking, because when I was in 82, I was already in high school, and I was like, oh my God, what is this?
So
For
funny.
me, 82 is like that is not that,
Yeah.
like I was like, 82. I was in high school when you were born. Hello, I was already, I know how to do
Yeah.
many things.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, amazing. In Zari, snowing first time, and how the dreams can come true, right? It like I love India, I love India, and I feel
I
that
know.
I'm Indian. I have somehow I'm Indian inside in a way.
Yeah.
And every time I get connected with Asia, it's like the first thing is India, and then everything else for me, because I
Yeah.
live there. And when you were saying Bombay, I could see that I could picture it, and like I was in Bombay when every time that somebody says any word about India or any city, I'm like, and I
Yeah.
and I noticed that I have been in most of the places there. So today, talking about restoring the balance from inside out, when this started being important for you, because you study, what was your master's about? Because you work in pharmacy. I mean, not in pharmacy, but in Johnson and Johnson. And what was your master's about?
Quality assurance and regulatory affairs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
your major before?
My Before that was clinical laboratory science. So like, all of like the COVID tests that are being done right now, and that gets sent to the lab. Like I was the lab. I was part of the team of people that would analyze the specimens and do
Oh
all of
my
that
God.
really important work. Yeah, it was yeah, and I
Yeah.
worked in a large hospital, and yeah, so
Like in the
that's what I had.
science side, like in the science side of the Johnson, I mean, all this, when you say that the COVID vaccination, I don't know what is going on in Mexico, but this is another topic. But maybe it's interesting for you now that we are in health coaching, and for you that you know about this. I just read that the vaccinations that are coming to Mexico are not trustful, are not right, are not real, are not, that the president didn't buy the real ones. It's just that the ones that were there. Can you imagine? I mean, it can be in this country, those kind of things can happen. And I was like, I'm not going to put it, and then I know that in order to travel to other countries, I need to have it. But the one that is in Mexico is not the good one. And there's so many people having, people not dying, but people is having problems. I mean, I don't know what to think. And in countries like Singapore, if the government said, you have to go for the vaccine, everybody will go trusting that is the right thing. Here,
Right.
like, it's water. It's, like,
Yeah,
that's,
sure.
so
Yeah.
I need to find out. Maybe you have colleagues that I can ask, that I will ask you after. But the thing
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that
sure.
when this thing started being important for you in your soul, this balancing, restoring the balance, which kind of balance? What do you mean by balance? What is balance for you? And when do you start thinking about that as an important issue in your life?
Yeah. Well, it really started for me as I was in my mid 20s. So as I started to understand, for example, what yoga was. And I had some understanding of yoga because well, Indian roots. And my mom's dad he passed away about 7 years ago, but he was a very spiritual person, like very into Ayurveda. He was just a man way ahead of his times. And he used to live with us. And I remember he would talk about ways to balance. So he had a lot of these Ayurvedic kind of theories, and he talked about eating banana peels. And there was a lot of things that I didn't understand. And I was like, what are you talking about? Tata is what I called him. And then he passed away. And that was a really, sad moment for us and for my mom, because he meant so much to all of us. And he was always a teacher. He was just always this, like, just amazing teacher. And I saw him in such a balanced way. And I said, how can I honor him and honor his light? And then yoga kind of just, as the universe has it, I put that intention out there. And I started to go to yoga classes in Washington, D.C. We had just moved there. And I found an amazing teacher, Angela Meyer, my guru, and just everything for me. I found her, and she just was incredible. And I thought of yoga as stretching before. I knew there was deeper roots to it. I knew there was a deeper meaning, but I had heard the Sanskrit words because just being Indian, it felt familiar, but I didn't know it. And then I noticed the feeling that I had while I was practicing and after I was done practicing, that I felt a stillness as I started to cultivate the ujjayi breath,
Mm,
the contracting of the whisper muscles at the back of your throat, like that oceanic noise. I felt balanced and grounded.
mm.
And I said, there's something here. There's something here that's much deeper. And then that's really what led me to my teacher training. And and that balance is what I started to cultivate. So when I talk about balance, it's really somatically for me. It's really in the body. How can I come back to center? How can I
Mm,
come back to that? And then as we moved to Singapore. Singapore is generally, my experience of it was a really relatively easy place to move to from a number of different perspectives. And it was still different. It was my first time living outside of the US. We did have family, so my in-laws live here and they're phenomenal. And aside from that, though, we didn't know anybody. It was really just kind of starting over. And I relied on my yoga practice heavily to
mm.
create balance for me. And I come back to it. As I'm sitting here, I'm sitting on my yoga mat. It's really where I find safety. I find safety and I find peace. So yeah, it really started for me in my mid 20s, and it's just carried me through till now. I'm 33, and it's just continuing to evolve what balance means. And that I
Mm,
really do believe it's finding it inside of me, so then
mm,
be able to project it out and to be able to cultivate that for our clients and the people that I serve. So yeah.
mm. That is a beautiful word, cultivate. That is not just the practice of of doing, thinking something else, or doing very fast because I just have 5 minutes. Like if I have minutes, I just do a little bit of it. It's like how to cultivate little by little something,
Yeah.
the habit of something that is bringing me that peace and that center. How can I, realizing that all the time we can go out of our center for anything. It's like we are humans, and it's like, it's not, we don't have to go out of our center. It's how to come back to our center when we are out,
Right. Mm,
right? And
exactly.
it's beautiful that you started that young. It's like amazing. And well, I met Sheila. I always say Sheila, but it's
You can say
Sheila.
Shayla. That's fine. That's okay.
And then sometimes I say which, and is which, and like that, this pronunciation thing of some letters that I'm not the best,
It's okay.
and it's okay, people can understand. So, and I understand also what I mean, so it's okay. um we met when I, as I said, when you started your coaching journey, your new field program in the coach partnership in Singapore. And then we continue working together when we were in health coaching. And now she's kind of my boss. She's we are changing roles because she
I
was
know.
like a student, and then we were working together in a project, and then now she's in a project that we were working a coaching thing. And then now she's one of the Cat, Dr. Cat is director of the program, manager,
Yeah.
how do you call
Yep.
it?
Yeah,
Program,
she's the
program,
program director. Yeah.
program
And I'm
director.
the program manager.
And
Yeah.
you are the vice president. What are you, what is your role there? But she's the one that I have to ask questions. I have to say, hey, how can I do this? It's so funny. It's so funny because before she used to ask me things.
Yeah.
Now I have to ask her things. And it's so cool. What is the role that you are playing in the health coaching program in the coach partnership?
Yeah, so I'm the well, official title is health coach program manager. And it's really to ensure the participant experience that,
Yeah.
everyone that's enrolled within the program
Okay.
is enjoying the journey and is finding, cultivating their own value out of it. And really
Yeah.
just supporting that. There's a lot of
Yeah.
back end, of course, as
I
you know,
know.
right,
I know.
back end
I
and
just wanted to know the title, but we are not going to talk about the program
okay,
because
okay,
we
okay,
are
fine, fine,
not
fine.
organizing
Yeah,
the
yeah,
program. It's about
yeah.
you. So, okay, she's doing that, and we met there, and we have a relation. We talk every week, or we chat, or we are in a teleclass or something. So
Yeah.
we see each other often, and I have seen. I mean, I just met you 2 or 3 years ago, and how you have been going through your own journey and in your center and your exposure and the way you are present and the power that you have in your body. Is it, the body has been always, because you are yoga practitioner since then, and you have this ancestor, your grandpa, that it's in your blood, that is something that even though you didn't buy the banana leaves and all those things in those years, it was
Yeah.
there, it was in your culture, and it was in your family traditions, and it's part of
Mhm.
what it's your personality. But what I have observed is how that balance, it's really every time more from inside out. Like
Mhm.
that your practice, it's something that it's the people as me, yeah, and we'll talk about me, that what I have seen, it's that you said it's real. It's like, and I have told you that when you are in you, what you project,
Mhm.
it's something that when you want to be what you will be tomorrow, like any other human being, not just you, Sheila. When
Mhm.
when we are to project what is our future, we are not in our present because we're focused in something that is going to happen tomorrow, and tomorrow is not yet here.
Right.
But when we are here, connecting with that inner self and inner wisdom, what we project, it's so real. And that's my experience with you, that every time that you are in you, it's so wise what is coming out in the way that some of the practices that we had that I said, oh my God, it's real. It's like, what I have seen now that you are kind of my boss, that I ask you for things and how can I do this? The way you answer, the way you are present, the way that it's like, it's that. And it's like how to restore our balance from inside out. That title, it's something that projects in the way the relationship that I have with you. And I think maybe many more are having that same relationship, that it's so beautiful what you are doing, that in the way that you are helping us to also, it's like something that can be mechanical, sometimes it's like a mechanic that, yeah, do this, do that, but it's coming from a person that is really wanting and practicing to be in the center, and from the center projecting what is good for yourself and for many more. What do you think about what I'm saying?
I'm I'm very touched. I'm very touched by your words and, your experience. And you there's so much richness in what you shared. And I I couldn't agree more that I know that when I'm being authentic to myself and really honoring who I am and allowing that to flow from the inside out, there is everything falls into place. There's no doubt, there's no what if, should, could, would. It just is. It just is. And I think so for everyone, Beatrice was actually my health coach, and my mentor coach in health coaching. And I still remember, Beatrice, when you were my first OCC, and I didn't pass it, right? And you were so wise in what you shared. And I remembered the feedback. It was like, okay, these are some of the things you can do. And you just said, where are you? Like, where are you in this? And I said, oh, well, I'm really focused on like getting it right. And you were like, okay, I get that. Like, where did you go? And I was like, I don't know where I went. Um, and then and then by the third OCC, the third kind of observed coaching call we had, you were like, there you are. And it was just so beautiful. And I was like, yeah, there I am. This is me being in the presence of walking alongside somebody, right, on their health and wellness journey. And yes, there is structure and there are models and there are things that I can follow. And what you said just stuck, right? People choose me for me. There are so many coaches out in the world, that people go to be coached by you as the person. And so that's just what's coming up as you were speaking. There's just a lot of love and gratitude for you. My hands are on my heart.
I'm crying. I'm sorry, because
Oh, don't cry.
yeah, I'm crying. I tell you why. Because coaches, we never said who is our coachee, right? I cannot say
I know.
I was the coach. When I was the coach of Chill, I cannot say that, and I was not gonna say. So that's why I said we were in a project together.
I know what you meant.
I was like, okay, we were in a coaching project together, and I just remember those conversations, and yeah. And I'm also very touched by that, because since then, when you decide to go and when we as a human beings, when we take that path of decision, that it's okay to be me, it's okay to be Mexican, it's okay to have 52, it's okay, everything, it's okay, this is me right now, this is me, like the song. And that's what you are sharing right now. So I was not going to say, sorry, you said.
Yeah, of course. Oh, no, I know. Yeah, no, I wanted to say that. Yeah. No breach of
It was not part
confidence.
of the plan. But since you mentioned, I just remember what was that. And it was so beautiful, your trust and it was not me. I was just coaches. We are just someone who is next to the person, and the person is the one that walked the path, their path, their life. And we can say whatever, but the person, if it makes sense for the person that we're working with, good. If it doesn't make sense, good. we have to, give up. That is not, is you don't have to. It's just like what I see and what I see.
Yeah.
What do you want to do with that?
Yeah.
And we have so much fun. But at the first day, I think she hates me, but then she loves me. And it's okay. I'm okay with that.
No,
So,
I didn't hate you.
no, it
No,
was
no,
a
no,
way
no.
to say that sometimes to say what you just say that I said is not that
Mhm.
easy for who's saying and who's receiving. But
Mm,
when we are truthful and when we really want to serve someone, is we serve from our love. It's a love relationship.
absolutely.
It's serving. And now that you are coaching so many from Sheila, that Sheila is
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I'm
It's so
here.
cool. Yeah, and
Yeah,
you have been always there. You have been always there because you practice yoga and you know how to be in the center. The thing is that
yeah.
sometimes when we are in these kind of professions, and some of the coaches that and coaching students that came here as right now or later, this wannabe thing exists in everything. I want to be the
Oh,
dancer. I want to be the coach. I want to be the best. I want to be, wannabe, 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 wannabe. And when we are in the wannabe, one thing is to have the inspiration of what I would like to become myself. Who is
mm,
me and who am I going to be tomorrow?
right.
But when my inspiration is, I want to be like that, I want to be like that, want to be, that is not possible because I'm getting out of myself and I'm becoming in my brain someone that is not me.
Right.
So that's what we meant from what he said. But going back, thank you for mentioning. But really, I was like so touched that I picture the movie in front of my eyes. That all
Mm,
those conversations. Thank you for bringing it.
of course.
So what is balance for you? Because we have been talking about the balance and the balance and the balance from inside out and restoring the balance and what is the balance and how as a human beings in these days,
Hmm.
according to your opinion and experience, we can get out of balance.
Mm, yeah. Well, I'll answer the second, question you posed about how do we get off balance.
Okay.
And I'll answer that first. It is for me, it is so easy to get off balance. And I'm sure that this experience is probably shared with others. I find myself especially getting off balance by energy. So by different types of energy. So I'm sensitive to that. So empath is also in my flyer. um,
Mhm.
and so I'm very sensitive to other people in other ways, and I'm sensitive like sensory wise. So now, especially in the times of COVID, and this time of the way we're interacting, right, with Zoom and however else, and isolation, that can throw me off balance sometimes if I'm on Zooms too often throughout the day, or if I'm constantly trying to connect through a screen, or through a phone, that can throw me off balance instantly. And that there's even, I know that there's a term called like Zoom burnout that definitely exists. It's something that in my mindfulness workshops that I do, and even when I'm coaching clients, I might pop in a little bit of that. And a lot of people nod and go, yeah, I experienced that. Because when we're trying to connect over Zoom, our brains think it's the same as being in person, but it's over a screen. So we're looking at let's say there's many people on a screen. We're looking at each person trying to assess, are they paying attention, are they not, what are they doing, and realizing that over Zoom it's different than in person, and it's exhausting. And so that's one for me. So overload on digital screens, watching too much Netflix, the news, that can um that can really throw me off,
Mm.
especially in this current environment. um I think the second thing is also, I'm as I said, energy. So when I am in person with people, um I can really sense things pretty quickly, and I'm quite intuitive with that. So I can sometimes walk into a room and go, something's off here. And I can't really say what is happening, but I can just pick something's off. And so sometimes when I'm in conversation with people, or maybe when I'm around just certain types of people, it can be really, honestly, can be draining. It might not be anything against them. It just could be my experience in that moment. So for the second part is really managing that social aspect. So I love being around people. I love the energy. It's very easy for me to connect and move and be. And I have to really insert very strong boundaries so that I also am able to refuel myself. I'm able to serve myself so I can serve others.
What kind of boundaries can you put when you feel that for example, this thing that you are saying about the balance, getting out of balance, or with the Zoom, I don't. Like every person is different, right? I mean, we have different. I have heard that oh my God, how can you do so many classes and this and that and talkings and conferences and interviews? And I'm like, it's the way we can connect right now. It's like I feel myself like I'm connecting with my team, I'm connecting with my students, I'm connecting with my teachers, I'm connecting, but then I have a lot of time that I'm connecting with me. Nobody is around, not even at the phone. And I'm cooking my food. And when I'm cooking, I'm cooking.
Yeah.
And when I'm eating, and the phone stays in the room. And I
Amazing.
started that 2 months ago that when I'm going down for lunch, it's lunch time. I used to be with the phone next to me all the time, even though and since I have people in the team that I'm working, the project that I'm doing,
Yeah.
people from all over the world. I mean, they can call anytime, they can send a message anytime, and my phone is like 24 hours is okay. But at night I'm putting the airplane mode that I'm saying
Yeah.
it's okay that they live in Singapore and they live in India, but I'm living in Mexico and I need to sleep. So
Right.
I'm sleeping with no noise and eating with no noise. And one thing that is helping me a lot is that I don't watch news
Mm.
and I don't read news at all.
Mm.
Sometimes I don't know what is going on. It's like a very embarrassing that really like
Yeah.
when Chris said something, that Chris Badley, that I'm super sorry for the things, and in the health coaching teleclass that we have, I'm sorry for the things that are happening in US. And I was like, what is happening? And all
Yeah.
this revolution in the Capitol, and I
Yeah.
didn't know, I
Right.
didn't watch that.
Right.
And I know that today is a very important day for all you guys, even though you are out of the country, your country. So I
Yeah.
blessings for the
Mm.
United States of America, that today is a day of changing the president, and there's a lot of, we have to send blessings, light, and all these things for everyone that is around, and for the
Absolutely.
peace of the country, of your country, and for the peace of everyone else around the world. But going back to the balance,
Yeah.
when this thing of that you say, okay, it's like how to restore, how to, because one thing is like, okay, I don't do this, I don't do that, and the people is burning out with Zoom, or you yourself also, there are you have so much screen, so
Yeah.
many Zooms, it's something that you don't want. It's okay. But when you feel that, even though you avoid the things that are not good for you, and when you feel that you are like shaking, or you sense, because you are super sensible, what you do, I know yoga, and what else? The people that don't practice, if somebody doesn't practice yoga,
Yeah.
what they can do to go back to that balance when they feel that something, do you have any idea of something that we can share with them?
Yeah, sure. So going back to my like example of Zoom, for
Mm,
example, how we're connecting in that way. Um, One of the things that I practice is that if I do have, for example, maybe a coaching call, or maybe it's not a coaching call, because I like to do most of my coaching like this, right, over Zoom video.
mhm.
But maybe if it's another client call, or if it's just a kind of a personal call, I won't do it over video. So I'll actually request, I'll say, would you mind if we did a WhatsApp voice call, or would you mind if we did like just a FaceTime audio? And almost always people say, yeah, of course, no problem. And so what that creates for me is that I'm able to walk and talk. So I love to actually walk and talk. I really like to move when I'm talking. There's actually correlation between, like, right foot, right foot, left foot as you walk, and the
Yeah,
correlation as to moving the different parts of your brain. So when I'm
yeah.
moving, I just feel great. And so that's what I do. So that's just maybe a tip for anyone that might be feeling like, I'm on screens all the time, I don't have time to do yoga, but I want to get exercise in. Make a request. Ask, um, maybe for two out of the however many meetings you have, maybe at least one meeting, one or two meetings, see if you can just do a voice call. It's still
Mm,
effective. Um, you can walk while you do it. You could even be outside while you do it if that's safe, of course.
mm,
So that's a tip. That's something that works really well for me.
mm,
And the other thing that I love that you said, so you said a couple of things that, I mean, you say many things that I love, but what you just
mm.
said about about what you
Uh-huh.
said about about like setting those boundaries, right? Where when you're cooking, your phone is like out of the kitchen, or
Mm,
it's like, away, right? It's in the other room, and you're cooking. You're in that meditation of cooking, you're eating, you're mindfully in that space.
mhm.
Um, that's definitely another way. I tend to have my phone in the kitchen with me because I love to listen to music when I cook. Um,
Okay.
but I won't check messages. I'll just
Mm.
maybe check the recipe and,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah, if
listen.
I need a recipe, I need a phone. Yeah, those things, yeah.
Exactly.
But what I mean is like, I used to be eating and checking if somebody needs something and
Yeah,
answering. And when I was chewing, I was answering. No. So I was like, I cannot do that. I don't want to do that. It's not that I
exactly.
cannot. I don't want to do it. I want to have spaces during the day that are just with me. And it's like having the phone when I'm taking a shower. It's the same thing. Like I'm
Yeah,
doing something that I don't need to be working the 24 hours a day. I mean, or
right.
serving others. Like it's beautiful, but it doesn't. I need to serve myself also. I need to put my oxygen and
Exactly.
then to put the oxygen to someone else. So it's like it's the way I'm
Exactly.
restoring my balance. That I think I restore my balance in silence because
Mhm.
from my personality is like when I'm in my meditation, when I do my Vipassana retreats, when I do the things that are really bringing me to be just focused on something, and so I enjoy so much meditation. It's like a
Mhm.
swimming, but I have not swim for more than 1 year now. I mean, I have not been out of the house for 11 months.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
since February or March. I mean, I have been out of the house in the supermarket, but I have not traveled and I'm not going to swimming pools
Yeah.
now. Not
Right.
not here. So, and for example, people that because you were talking about that how to take calls walking, and it's a very nice practice also for coaching to
Mm.
walk in the park. And actually it's one of the when I started with my first teacher with Julio, he
Mm.
used to say let's walk in the park when we were in the room with all the students in Colombia, and he was taking the person that he was doing the practice, and they just start in the stage walking from one side to another. And also Fred Kaufman does that, like the teachers that I have been studying my coaching
Mm.
certifications. People that don't talk with anyone, let's say that someone that listens to us is not a coach, is not a psychologist, is not a person that really had interactions with someone that needs to talk by the phone or change the Zooms by WhatsApp calls. What is another, from your perspective and your practice, another way to restore the balance from inside out that people could start practicing? I think Sheila left for a few seconds. Let's bring her back. Come back. If she doesn't come back, we will continue after because the question is to her. Okay, she left, but she will come back. Just 1 minute. Maybe she doesn't listen my question. So restoring the balance from inside out. coming. She's saying that Zoom took her out. So Zoom decide to go back to its. Zoom didn't like. I will tell her. Okay,
I'm
you're
back.
back.
I don't know what happened. Sorry about that.
You know what happened. I know what happened. I know what happened. I'm sure. I'm sure. Like,
Okay.
let's say Zoom nowadays is super powerful
Okay.
because everybody is using Zoom for everything.
Yeah.
So Zoom has its own personality. Zoom is listening to us, and Zoom is listening that we are blaming him for being the thing that is taking us out of balance. And he said, guys, you want to talk about me? Hello.
Right.
You
I'm
will
gonna shut you
see
down.
what I can do for you. Now you won't talk.
Exactly.
And then you went. Because we're talking about Zoom. So
Yeah.
Zoom, we love you. We are just saying that we don't need you all the time. But don't go
Exactly.
away
Zoom, we
again.
love you. You've been a
Yeah, we love
lifesaver,
you. We need
honestly.
you actually. Is the
I
way
know.
we're talking to each other
Exactly.
around the world. But the thing is that we don't want you to be the number one. We want you to be a tool. So stay with us. Don't go again.
You're
So it's like
yeah.
it's like the personages that I always say that we have in our brain, that it like the emotions are here. Also, Zoom is kind of one thing that also. So I was asking you again because maybe you didn't listen the question completely. Or you
Mm.
did? Did you
I
listen?
heard most of it. I heard
Okay.
like what would you suggest for people that like aren't like, coaches or
Yeah, like
therapists
you and
or
me, we
whatever.
can say, okay, our conversations, instead of having the conversations by Zoom, let's have a WhatsApp calls and let's do this and okay. But what about the people that don't talk with anyone and they don't talk with anyone and they also get out of balance and they need to restore their balance in their life from inside out. What they should
Yeah.
do? What would you think?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, I honestly think that any form of movement is just an incredible, right? Like literally just like just even standing up and shaking or even standing up and just freestyling.
Mm,
Um, putting on some good music and music that lights you up. I think music is our universal language. I strongly feel that and believe that. And it doesn't really matter what language or where you are in the world, you put something on and we just vibe and feel that together.
mm,
Um, so I just turn some music on and move.
mm,
Doesn't matter how much space you have, you can always move no matter what. You don't need to go and choreograph a dance, just move and be. So that would be my first thing. Put on music, move, get out of your mind, and just give yourself a chance to get into your senses. And so by turning on music, we're getting into our hearing and we're getting into our bodies. So that's the first thing. And the second thing that I've been I do this on and off, but especially now I'm paying a lot more attention to my diet. So I'm not like, I don't know, I'm not on a keto diet or anything specifically. And even the way that I eat, I tend to eat more vegetarian food. Occasionally I'll have seafood. I tend to not really eat meat at this point. So I guess, I don't know what, maybe you call me pescatarian, flexitarian, whatever you want to call it. But generally it's foods that make me feel good. And
mm,
for the most part, the foods that really make me feel good are foods that are generally healthy. So, slow acting carbs, for example, like brown
mm,
rice, grains, um, plant-based proteins, tofu, beans,
mm.
etc.
Nice.
Curries, soups. I love to cook. Cooking is very therapeutic for me. I'm a scientist, right? So I love measuring and it feels like a
Yeah.
science experiment. Yeah, exactly. Like it's like
Blending.
exactly. Yeah. It's like, oh, I needed this, I needed that. I love like following, well, it's a recipe, but I call it SOP, standard operating procedure, like
Yeah.
following it and producing it. So we all have the capability of doing that. Of you don't need to be on a fancy diet. You don't necessarily need to have access to a lot, but generally eating whole foods as much as you can. So instead of orange juice, eating the orange. Like those types of things, those are choices we can make. And that almost always helps me rebalance. When I
Yeah.
make a good hearty meal, I cook it and I eat it, or I serve it to my husband or serve it to friends. That really makes me feel really
Mm,
just happy and
yeah.
moving my body. So yeah.
Yeah, nice. Also, the things that you are starting using, because Sheila is using the same oils that I'm using. She is not in my team, but she's using the oils, and those
Yeah.
also help for creating balance, for
Mm,
increasing the vibration. So when we have
absolutely.
essential oils, any brand, it doesn't matter. Essential oils can help us also to increase our vibration and are very good partners in this journey. You say something about dancing, and it's amazing because maybe you don't know, but I'm having a project in Spanish, but you can come because I mean, I don't talk much. We just move. And it's 30 minutes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. Mexico time. And it's like this. The name is in Spanish is Amanece Positivo, is awakening positive. And people comes and we meet by Zoom. We meet by
Mhm.
Zoom, and it's like just a little bit of talking at the beginning that is like a reflection or centering. That is another friend, another coach, Drede, she's doing that. And then we are moving with different songs. I mean, most of them in Spanish, and they have like there are messages that I want to share with the people that is there. But the most important is that we move the body. And what they report, because what they said after, it's how happy they feel and how the days are starting different and how, and it's just 30 minutes. And it's like, and we can play any music, as you say, any music that we can put it and start moving. It doesn't have to be choreographic dance, as you said. When we dance in Singapore together, like we were doing kind of, some
Right.
people were asking me like, what is it? I don't know. I mean, I listen the song and then I start moving and you guys move. And that's why I always say, don't copy my movements. This is my movements. You will find out your movement like happy fans.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
exactly.
remember when we were dancing together?
Oh, absolutely. So much. I can't wait till we can do it again in person. But yeah, that's exactly it, right? It's our bodies know what to do. There is so much wisdom in each and every one of us and in our bodies. And our bodies are constantly talking to us
Hmm.
every second of every day of every day that we're alive. Our bodies are saying things. And there's so much that we can learn from that. And I just feel like dance is a vehicle to connecting in. So yeah, there's so much with that. And the other thing about restoring balance, you alluded to this about the silence for you, that really being in silence is rejuvenating and replenishing. I couldn't agree more. Normally, the way I start my year is I do a retreat in Thailand. So I've been doing that the past 2 years, um, and it's so nourishing for me. To generally, my phone is off, my airplane mode pretty much the whole time, and I'm either I'm just immersed in nature with some of my
Nice.
teachers, with yeah, with some of my dear friends here in Singapore as well, um, and we go together, and it's reconnecting with nature. It's reconnecting with ourselves, getting to know
Hmm.
ourselves again, and setting that tone for
Beautiful.
the year, and it, of course, it looks a little bit different. Can't travel yet to Thailand. And there's ways to create that at home. There's ways to create that in nature. Um, it's always really beautiful here in Singapore. I love the weather personally, here. And so getting outside, putting my feet in the earth, moving
Yeah.
outside, taking a walk, um, there's so many pockets of Singapore. I hear a lot of complaining, Singapore's small, Singapore's this.
No, but
Okay.
Singapore is the air of Singapore is the more the fresher, clearer, not polluted in the world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's
So you can
clean.
be out with all the trust that no pollution, it's
Yeah.
super clean. They clean the air. They clean the air at night. It's amazing. Like there are yeah, there are machines and
Yeah.
no mosquitoes. Like they export the mosquitoes to Indonesia and Malaysia
Yeah.
because this is right. Like everything that
Yeah.
is not is polluting. Like the cars can in the city just for 10 years.
Yeah,
If you have a car of
exactly.
10 years, you have to pay a lot of money to keep your car. You better sell it.
Right.
Amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, exactly. So there's just so many opportunities here to connect in. You know, and even if getting out, it's so yeah, and so that's my other tip is like move often and frequently, eat as much, especially just try and eat at least fruits and vegetables, like if you can, you know, in their original form, and get outside in nature. You know, don't be afraid to like, I don't know, take your shoes off and get those feet in that earth and hands in the earth and just, you know, connect back
That's
in,
nice.
right?
Maybe we don't have the seashore like she has in Singapore, like some of us that
Mhm.
are like, because you can go to the beach and you can go to the forest and you can go to the botanical
Yeah.
garden and you can go to so many places that, yeah, in Mexico City, we have Chapultepec. We have this beautiful park, big park. The thing is
Mhm.
that nowadays, like in this moment, is not recommended to be with places that can be with so many people that are not understanding that we have to take care. Here we don't have this thing of 4 people in the restaurant. You can see everyone pack it, and it's like a normal day without the mask, without
The
you know.
mask.
So it's like
Okay.
it's a different culture, so it's a
Sure.
different
Yeah.
understanding. But the thing is, how all of us, whatever we live, whatever we do, we can start restoring that balance inside. Balance will not be restored from anything that is coming out. It's not that if we change the president, it's not if we do
Right.
another job, it's not if we turn off the Zoom, is yeah, those things are helping us. The external factors that we cannot control external factors. Well, actually we cannot control internal factors. So some
Mhm.
days, sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's
Sure.
how to how to observe what are the things that are out that I can decide to turn on or off. It's
Yeah.
me, the one that has the control of the TV. It's me, the one
Right.
that can change the channel. It's
Right.
me, the one that can say, I'm not going to watch this program. It's me, the one that can say, I'm not going to read a newspaper. It's me, the one that take it. It's not, oh, the news, so bad. Yeah, why you read them if are so bad? If it's something that is not, is taking you out of your balance, is bringing you anxiety, it's something that you connect with the sadness and the fear and this and that, and like it's things will keep happening. Things have been happening since we are born and before,
Right.
with
Right.
us and without us, since Ganesh, right?
Yeah. Right.
Like our
Exactly.
ancestors are there. So
Yeah.
how we live the life that we have, how we decide, how we choose, how we connect with the people that have our vibration or higher, how we connect with those things that bring us happiness, how we move our body like Sheila told us, and how we take care of what are we eating, because whatever we put inside of our body is what we are getting, the nutrients from there. We are nurturing ourselves from the things that we're putting in our mouth. So how we choose that. So I think it's very important what you told us, like moving and being in contact with the nature, put the feet on the air. Even if we don't have a garden in our house, go to the park, the closer park, just walk around or just sit there and just enjoy the trees, see the sky, look at the moon, check like give the
Yeah.
time for that. And the eating thing that I know that you are very care, you take care of a lot about that. And as a health coach, she's a of course, she's a certified health coach if she's working in the health coach program, right? At the end, of course, she passed everything.
I'm
Now
taking my
she's the
board exam.
boss.
I'm
Now she's,
taking my board exam in 2 weeks, actually, too.
oh
So
my God, really?
yeah, I've been studying. I
So
feel good.
proud.
Thank you.
Wow. You told me I'm going to go for my board exam. This is very
I did
important in
tell
order
you
to
that.
work as a health coach all over the world. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
Congratulations, all the best. You have to tell me when you pass it, because you will pass it. So we will
thank
celebrate. Which day is gonna be this?
February 3rd here in Singapore. Yeah,
February
on
3rd,
Wednesday.
Wednesday. I will put on my agenda so I can see.
Oh, so
Congratulations, February
kind.
the
Thank
3rd.
you.
So this is just before Chinese New Year.
Yeah, just before. Yeah, just before
Yeah,
Chinese.
sometime, because in Singapore everything it's holiday. It's like a
Yeah,
holiday. It's the
yeah, yeah,
holiday.
It's a
the
big,
Chinese New Year.
yeah,
Yeah, like
big,
that,
yeah,
whatever, like a big thing. So Sheila, my love, I mean, for me, just to tell you that I'm super grateful and honored to have you in this Atma con Beatriz space, and really to be working with you, to see you every time, to see you how you are bringing to your presence, first of all, into your life, all your dreams, and make them all there come true, like this one. You told me when you started your certification, I'm gonna go for the books, and I was like, you first do your journey here,
I remember.
and then you think what you will do after. Don't
I
run
remember
away
you
from
telling me
there.
that. And I was like, all right, I'm still gonna go for it, but I hear you.
And now you are there. Oh my God, I'm really, really. I mean, I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
It's like it's just one more step, right? It's just one more step into this journey called life.
Absolutely.
So thank you
Thank
for being
you.
here. And I give
Thank
you
you.
the space for you to close. So for me, thank you very much. I will ask you some things when we hang out so I can include your me. I mean, somebody maybe don't have your Instagram or how they can contact you for whatever you are doing, the yoga, the things, whatever. So I will ask you some things and then I will send you the link. But how you want to close this space is your turn.
So the quote that changed everything for me is by the late poet Mary Oliver. And the phrase goes, "What is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?" And that is the quote that my yoga teacher, Angela, said on the first day of our yoga training. And it's the quote that changed everything for me. Because up until that point, I had never thought about life in that way. I had never thought that I had a choice on what it is I really wanted to do and how to serve the world. And I remember when she stated that quote and I heard it and I felt it in every bone of my body, I had thought, I want to travel the world and I want to help people. And I'm so pleased to be doing just that. Maybe not traveling right now, although, like travel and meditation and stuff, that does happen, but maybe not physically traveling. but but yeah, I am helping people. And so my final words is that, well, it's to all of you, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? And know that nothing is too big, and that the power of intention is everything, and that honestly anything is possible, even in this climate, even amongst COVID, amongst everything that's happening, anything is possible. And yeah, just have fun and be free and be you. Yeah.
Be you. Close with
Be
that.
you.
That's the thing. Thank you for that phrase. Be
Yes.
you.
Be
Be
you.
you, because being you, Sheila, you are the most beautiful being that you can be when you are you.
Absolutely. Thank
Mm.
you. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. I love you. Thank you
I
very
love
much.
you.
Take
Thank you.
care.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Namaste.
Namaste.